Towing is a career full of different situations, from vehicles missing a wheel to having none at all. A great operator learns to use all the tools in both his physical and mental toolbox. I'm here today to tell you about a new, exciting tool to add to your physical toolbox, the BakPul Hitch. Like many people on the internet, I had my doubts about this product. Doubts I personally aired on this podcast. But the fine folks over at BakPul Hitch sent me one of their products to try, and boy, was I surprised. Its quality of build and ease of use made me eat my words real quick. So if you're a doubter like I was, head over to bakpulhitches.com for more information and to find out how to add another tool to your toolbox. That's BakPul Hitches.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Towing Life podcast.
Welcome to the Towing Life podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I'm your host, Towman G, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, friend, and former co-worker, the man with very strong opinions, Mr. Plain Guy.
What is going on, G? What is going on?
Oh, third time's the charm, you know.
I mean, 108 episodes in, why would you possibly have figured out the intro at this point?
I normally remember the intro. It's just I start thinking of it so fast, I stumble over my words because I'm not sure if you know this or not, but my mouth operates faster than my brain does.
I'm not surprised to hear that in any way, shape, or form.
I tell my girlfriend that all the time, and it doesn't impress her very much.
No. That's a good way to get in trouble with most women in your life. They tend to not have an understanding on why it is that we can say things without really thinking about them ahead of time. Right? There's two things that don't agree with that: employers and wives, normally.
Both of them have a very highly likely chance to ruin your life if not made carefully.
Your employer and your spouse both can ruin your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things out there that can ruin your life, but if that's the two biggest ones you have to worry about, you're probably doing pretty good in life.
Yeah.
So welcome once again to episode 108 of the Towing Life podcast. As G said, where the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. It is crazy as we continue to keep doing this week after week after week. How amazing
that
these
tow show though. Wow.
That tow show. I didn't want to bring up the tow show at all because, you know, it's something we're going to have some special bits and pieces and episodes, and you have so much content to put together talking about the tow show that I don't want to get into it just yet. But we will be. Keep an eye out for that in the upcoming episodes. On, a recap of the tow show, a live sit down with you and I at the tow show. There's lots coming out of that, so be sure to keep an eye out for that, as well as remember, if you haven't already, Recovery of the Month is closing soon. It is closing on September 30th, right? Like a week from today, or a week and a bit from today when this episode comes out. So if you haven't already, be sure to head over to towinglife.ca/recovery to get your submissions in. It's gonna, we've got to pick the winners early in October so we can have the calendars ready to go. So be sure to get them in. You can win a $50 Amazon gift card. Canadian dollars. That's Monopoly money for any of our American listeners. Thanks for joining us again this week. And a spot in our 2024 calendar, which will go on sale at the end of 2023. So be sure to head over to towinglife.ca/recovery. Get that in. Thank you to all the sponsors we've had up until this point. Our spaces, it's done. We're not accepting new sponsorship. Everything has been taken care of for all the months, so we thank you very much. We've had everyone from BakPul Hitches, Tow Canada, Herb's Towing. Remind me if I'm forgetting any. I feel
Plain
like
Guy
there's
Productions.
Plain Guy Productions. I wasn't really going to shout out our own company, but why not? So no, thank you for everybody that has helped out along the way with that. It has been awesome. TowSoft was in there as well.
Yep.
So thanks to the fine folks over at TowSoft. All great people that we got to meet at the tow show and catch up with, right? Every one of our sponsors, other than BakPul Hitches.
Looking forward to another one of these.
Another one of the toe soft koozies.
Yeah.
I've got the spill tackle.
I want another one of them.
I have a box of them in my office. I'll get you one.
Okay.
You know, maybe we can get a picture with. We should bring Colin the bobblehead. I think we will. We're gonna we'll have to sit down at one point again sometime and get an interview with Colin with his bobblehead and see which one of the two has the better answers.
Maybe that's already done. We don't know. We haven't reviewed the footage.
So that being said, head over towinglife.ca/recovery to get entered into the Recovery of the Month contest. And it is also a good time to mention, if you haven't already and you like the show or want a comment, question, give us any information about the show. Part of that today we want to go over is a follow-up on some information that we had been given about some funny tow trucks back when, where a listener actually did email us or sent us through the messenger. I don't remember. Message the page telling us about, hey, these are the trucks you were talking about. So how can you get a hold of us? You can find us on Facebook at the Towing Life Podcast. You can email us directly at thetowinglife@gmail.com or by visiting us at www.towinglife.ca. You'll find a contact us form there. Give us your opinion. Tell us what you think, whether you agree, disagree, hate us, love us.
You can also just bleep bloop down below on the YouTube side of things.
As I always forget, do not forget to leave a comment down below on the YouTube side with the like and the follow and the little bell so you know every time a new episode comes out.
I mean, it comes out every Tuesday. If you haven't figured out that it comes out every Tuesday yet, then I don't know what you're doing.
Well, some people don't know what day of the week it is. I'm having a little rough week on that myself.
Yeah.
So to remember, if I were to hit the little bell on YouTube, I get a notification when the episode comes out. And Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. I don't have an Uncle Bob.
You don't have an Uncle Bob?
No.
Everybody's got an Uncle Bob.
I have an Uncle Bob, but he's not really my uncle.
He's just that creepy one from family reunions that that uncle? Okay.
Yeah, he went on a couple fishing trips, and then now I've never seen him again, so I don't know what happened on those fishing trips.
What was Uncle Bob fishing for?
I don't know. He was in the smallest boat.
So, yeah. So let's get right into it this week. I mean, get right into it. We've always got a little while before we actually get into the main juicy of the episode.
Yeah.
But you had an interesting story with your wife, or
wonderful.
I don't call her wife. Wife is just a term that we use of endearment.
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you refer to as your wife ever? Do you ever just say like my wife, just out of like you've been together so long, you might as well be?
No, not really.
Oh, no.
But I will send her like TikToks and things about wives. And then she normally says, well, I don't have a ring on my finger. It's like, yeah, well, then I just don't send her any of those TikToks for another couple of weeks. So
why doesn't she have a ring on her finger?
Cost mostly.
This bullshit idea that it takes 3 months salary to put a ring on a finger or whatever it is bull. My wedding band is like, you know, for men, it's really cheap. Mine's like $40. It's my second one because my first one was too big. My wife's engagement ring, $800 maybe $1,000.
It's not bad.
I didn't spend. I told her you'll get the bigger one at the big anniversary there once we're retired. It's kind of my theory. She's gonna have to wait a little while for that fancy ring. So, anyways, let's get into the story you have.
She it was one of the days. It was Sunday. It was actually just last Sunday. She was gonna head to the grocery store to pick up some stuff to prepare for the tow show, to pack a cooler and everything. So she goes out. 2 minutes later, she comes back in, says, my Jeep won't start because she drives a piece of shit 2021 Jeep. And so I go out. It's like, yep, well, your battery's dead. She was like, no, I was driving it yesterday. I was like, well, your battery's dead. So I walked around to the shop. I grabbed some jumper cables and a battery charger because my jumper cables that I have are from the 60s, and I don't know if they're actually going to work or not. So you might as well bring the battery charger with you. Moral of the story is I get the Jeep going. She was freaking out. She's like, oh, well, is it the alternator? Is it the battery? It's like, it's probably just your battery. Well, how do you know? It's like, well, it's running, isn't it? She's like, yeah. It's like, so it's probably your battery. But let's not jump to any conclusions. We'll let it run here in the driveway for 10 minutes. You're going to drive into the town, which is a 20-minute drive. By that time, it should be fully charged. And it should start again. because you could have left a dome light on. You could have done this. You could have done that. Whatever.
Door not closed properly, right? That's one of the
Exactly.
easy
Right.
ones.
Especially with the rear hatches getting stuff in and out. Sometimes the dome lights stay on. She drives to the store. She does her shopping, and I get a phone call. Jeep won't start. All right. So I go and grab the jumper cables that didn't work the first time. And my old battery charger, like my old portable battery pack that I haven't used in like 7 years, that probably doesn't, I know it doesn't have a charge in it. And I didn't think it, I think one of the reasons why I stopped using it is because it would no longer boost a vehicle. But hey, grab what you got. And so I go to the grocery store. I get the jumper cables to work by like physically like holding and pressing down and getting spark. Anyways, starts up. I start calling around for a battery. She drives home. I come back home. And she's once again freaking out. Well, how do you know it's the battery? I don't want to drop $350 on a battery if it's not the battery. I was like, I know it's the battery. She's like, how do you know it's the battery? So I took this old piece of shit battery box and I turn it on. I show her. It's like, we have one red light. It means it's almost dead, right? Okay. I put it on my running truck. And I put the cables on and I turn it on. Press the battery button. Now I have 3 lights. It means it's charging. Turn it off. Boost her Jeep again. Take the jumper cables off. Put the battery pack on it. 3 lights. It's charging. Okay, so your alternator's putting out power. It's just your battery. Which gave her a little bit of relief and comfort knowing that it's just her battery. However, I don't really like the fact that I had to defend myself, a guy who's a tow truck driver, to my own girlfriend. But I know I've done that multiple times with customers, saying like it's your battery. It's probably your battery if it is anything, because I'm getting a positive charge coming off your alternator through the battery pack. Now,
I know the question is, and this is, what advice do you give the customer? How much do you play mechanic, and how much do you just shut up and do the service and tell them I'm not a mechanic?
Yep.
But I think before you were to give any advice, you need to have at least a battery pack with a volt meter, not just 1 green light means it's not charging. 3 green lights means it is charging. I know, like, that is in theory, you're right.
Yeah, my battery packs at work do have an actual readout.
Yeah, right. Like whenever I've put mine on a vehicle, and they, you can normally tell where they go, oh, it's not starting. And I put the battery pack on, and it's reading like 11.7 volts. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that ain't a dead battery. Like, that ain't a boost issue. That's a starter issue, 90% of the time. Now, some of these new vehicles I'm seeing are having
12.3 to start.
Yeah, like they won't start at like, I've seen like 11.3, and I'm like, it's not a boost. And then it goes like 11.8, 11.9, right, with the pack on it, and all of a sudden it starts, and I'm like, holy shit, that thing wasn't even that low, right? So
I've had at times where I put my pack on and it comes up and it reads 12. I was like, I'll just see if I can get to start without turning the pack on. Just put the pack on the battery, but not turned on. And sure as shit, go in, turn the key, doesn't start, come back out, turn it on. And as they're cranking it, it drops down to like 11.1. And just the amount of cranking amps that is needed to start this new piece of shit, it's just not enough.
You drive like a Chrysler product, though, and Jeep is the same thing.
Oh yeah, they're all pieces of shit.
Oh, okay, so you admit that your Dodge is also a piece of shit. Like, they're made
by a Ram, not a Dodge, but yeah.
That was the dumbest. I still don't understand how Dodge went to Ram. Like, Ram is its own division.
Ram is its own division. So they split that when
the
Fiat bought them out in 2009. Yeah. So they wanted to separate their car division from their truck division. So that's why Dodge only made cars and minivans.
And Ram
went and made their own truck line, which was the Ram.
You ever get a roadside call that says Ram Caravan?
Yeah, there is such thing. Okay. There is
the work vehicles. Is that like the Ram, like
the Ram van? Yeah, it's like it was a Dodge Caravan, just rebadged as a Ram.
Okay, but there is still a Dodge Caravan
that the ProMaster vans are also based off of.
The more you know about what you call pieces of shit.
They are. I don't care what badge it's got on it. If it was made after probably 2004, 2005, it's a piece of shit.
Well, it's funny they talk about that. Like, yeah, when you get into customers with it, right, where it's like you're giving customers advice. Now, the first thing I always tell a customer before I give them any advice on something like this, if it's going to be their battery, if it's going to be their alternator, if it's going to be, even other things that we've seen, water pumps, power steering pumps, anything like that, right? I always say I'm not a mechanic. If I was a mechanic, I'd make less money. I'd make more money and I'd work less hours.
Yep.
Right. So I'm just a tow truck driver.
But I deal with cars every day. So take whatever.
But I've run into a lot of things. So based on my expert opinion, this is what I believe it is. If I say it's the battery and you drive down the road and it conks out, it was the alternator. Well, that's why I'm not a mechanic.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot that goes into that. But yeah, no, it's how much advice do you give to a customer? I don't give price on things. That's what I hate. They'll ask you, it's like, oh, well, how much is an alternator? I don't know.
Yeah.
In today's economy, probably a lot more than it was when I remembered.
This is the first time buying a battery in a little while for me. $350 for like a battery. I've been telling people like $250. I'm
thinking like 2's a good one.
Yeah.
Like 2 was an interstate. Nice, good interstate battery there.
Not
one of these
$350. Then you got your $20 core charge on there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they've just like everything else in the world, they've really gone up. So
I put 2 new batteries in my pickup 2 years ago, I think it was, and that was $600. But that was at the dealership, and it was there for a lot of other warranty work as well.
Right.
And since it sat in their parking lot for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Well, both the batteries kind of froze and exploded. So,
no,
yeah,
that's good.
That was nice.
Yeah, that's a nice repair bill.
Yeah.
But no, it's how much advice do you give to a customer when it comes to their vehicle or what's wrong with it? It's all depending on the customer.
Mm-hmm.
It's all depending on how receptive the customer is, how arrogant the customer is, how much they think that their shit don't stink.
Yep.
And they're going to tell us, what the problem is. I always love that. There's not a boost. I tried boosting it off my husband's car. It's not a boost.
No. I always just tell them, like, well, I wasn't here. Might as well just try.
Yeah, no, those are my favorite. I love proving customers wrong. The good news is, so I have found live footage of you boosting your girlfriend's vehicle. Ready? Like, I've got live footage here of you boosting your girlfriend's vehicle.
Yeah.
With your 1970 booster cables.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think that's supposed to happen. That's a Ford boosting a Ford, mind you, but like, I think somebody hooked something up wrong.
So what's going on here is there's 2 Ford vehicles, a newer one and an older one. They've got jumper cables hooked to battery, and all the plastic on the jumper cables has melted off, and both the wires are viciously smoking.
Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, I'd go more. There's actually some commentary on it. I think I'd go more than viciously smoking. Like
but it's not currently
on the right.
Yeah.
What I honestly think it is they probably bought some cheap jumper cables, which they do
100%.
sell.
Yeah, you do.
And they've used them so much, and they are just worn out.
It's not like positive
and you're just putting too much amperage through them. They're just getting too hot because they're not actively sparking.
They're too thin of gauge. They're probably too thin of gauge.
They're not actively sparking, so I don't even know if they've hooked it up incorrectly. Because if they did, they probably wouldn't have been able to get the clamp on, and you would see constant arcing.
I have it on the right spot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love how he's reassuring. I have it on the right way.
Imagine that happening to a customer's car, and then trying to have to scrape all the burnt plastic off their paint.
Well, not to mention the burnt plastic
or anything.
Like as it's going up the car.
And this is at a Ford dealership, mind you, too, because it's got a Ford Performance dealer plate on the front.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a lot of different things, but like I think there's a good chance it's
not like positive is a negative or anything.
Like 2 small gauge wires too.
Yeah.
Right? 2 small gauge wires. So always get proper big cables. That's what what I mean? Like everyone forgets to, you look at those cables that you find in people's trunks or when they're trying to boost a car. And yeah, they're the same thing. They're 12 years old. They're, they look to be like 16 gauge wire. Like, don't worry, I'll boost you. And it's like, no, that's not gonna go well. Like, it is never going to end well. But it's funny. I had a customer a while back. I got a call from our local police department for just a disabled vehicle. They weren't even hanging around. They're just like, car's disabled here. Go figure it out. So okay, I got there. Car's pulled over. So this car is pulled over in front of a Tim Hortons, which is in our area the hangout of the finest of fine. Right? Like, it is the one where people are set up in lawn chairs.
Oh,
They've been there. Oh, yeah. Like, it is that Tim Hortons. Everybody who doesn't work and doesn't have to get up for the morning for work are hanging out in their lawn chairs and pajamas at this Tim Hortons at night.
it's that level of sketchy area, Tim Hortons. Because you see, there's multiple levels of
it's
sketchy
not
Tim
sketchy,
Hortons.
though. It's not sketchy. Like, you're not going to go there and get stabbed. But you're going to go there and, get asked for change to bum a smoke. To, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not violent. It's just, the combined weight of the people normally it exceeds the rating of the chairs that they have on site. Okay. And so for anyone thinking it's going to get mad that I'm fat shaming, I don't give a shit. Okay. I'm going to throw that right out there. But they broke down right in front of this. And of course, everybody in that parking lot's a mechanic.
Yeah.
I actually said this story about another truck, an F-250 back when, that had broken something in the rear axle that I had to tow out of there. It was the same Tim Hortons.
Oh, okay.
Where everyone's coming over telling me how to do it. But when I offer them an interview, no one's interested. So anyways, these poor people break down and they don't know nothing about cars. And so I get there, and as soon as I get there, the guy comes up and he's like, yeah, I checked their gas. And I'm like, oh, pardon? Well, I checked, they got gas. I was like, okay.
How did you check? Did you siphon it out of their tank?
Yeah, I don't know what he did. Anyways, I checked though. Okay. So I talked to the couple and I'm like, okay, so what happened? Like, what's going on? And the guy comes over. Well, you see, they came around the corner. Okay, let me talk to these guys. Let me talk to the people driving the car. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you have done. But I got it. Okay. So we were coming around the corner, and all of a sudden the car started smoking, and then it stopped running, and there's fluid underneath. And the guy comes back over and he's like, I checked, it isn't gas. This guy was set on gas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I told him it's probably the transmission. Okay.
Probably not, but okay.
I'm trying to be polite.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to tell this guy. And then it's like, you know my brother? My brother's so-and-so. And I did know his brother. Small town. What can I say? And he's like, we worked on cars our whole lives. And I'm like, yeah, I know your brother. Like, he that guy could MacGyver some shit.
Yeah. Derby cars, not road.
Oh yeah,
cars.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That kind of stuff. The guy wouldn't be working at a dealership, put it that way.
No.
But so I go, okay. And he's like, yeah, there's some fluid on the ground. I'm pretty sure it's oil. And I'm like, oh, okay. We went from it's not gas. I think it's their transmission to it's oil.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, I winch it up onto the flatbed.
Cool.
Yeah, I winch it up onto the flatbed. I pull into the parking lot to get off the road, and of course, now everyone's coming over to, oh, look at the big truck coming in the parking lot.
Yeah.
He's coming to hang out with us. And nice young people, and like I said, they don't know anything about cars, so I see it up on the deck, and it's coolant.
Yeah.
I'm like, what that is, that's coolant, right? It overheated. I don't know what caused it. Could be it's a Toyota Camry. So, like, they're pretty dependable. I told them that, but, like, again, it could be anything simple from a thermostat to a radiator hose to a water pump. Like, again, bring it to a mechanic, have them check it. It's not transmission fluid. It's not gas. I don't know where gas came into this whole thing.
No.
And this guy's like, he comes up to me with like some on his finger while I'm like trying to hook up the car. This is what it is. And it's like, okay, well, I'll check that after.
I'm not licking your finger to see what kind of fluid it is.
Yeah. And but it's like that's the people, like, they're trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
right? Like I can pick on this guy and give the voices and everything else, but he's trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
But you're not being helpful if all you're doing is making the people worry that it's your transmission. What's the first thing a customer thinks when they hear transmission?
$5,000, car's a write-off.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you're not helping by just throwing out random automotive terminology that you've heard one day on a fucking Jiffy commercial.
Yeah.
Right? Like or a Benson commercial or something. So but it's just
I
like
had
how if you want to be helpful, right? And especially our job. Like this guy didn't have a job. Clearly, that's why he was hanging out there.
Yeah.
But like our job is to not only, you don't want to panic your customer at the same time. You want to be realistic, but like there's nothing worse than, do you think my engine's done? And you'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, now if there's a hole through the top of the motor or through a rod out the side, I mean, there's no way of sugarcoating it. No, it might just be a water pump.
Yeah.
Right? There's no way of
Or your
sugarcoating that.
dipstick's got nothing on it. Well, what if I put some in now? It's like, oh, I think the damage is already done.
I just need a longer dipstick.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Ford recall on that?
No.
My cousin owns one of them trucks. So Ford had a recall where they leak oil or they burn oil, brand new trucks.
Yeah. Most trucks have a lot of blow-by nowadays, actually.
But unless it burns, look, we're talking like gas, like we're not talking diesel, whatever, too, either. We're just talking like a gasoline. I don't even think it's the 5 liter. It could be that EcoBoost. And if it has to burn so much oil over a set distance to be all under their warranty work to have. But one of the recalls that they had was to put a longer dipstick in.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if it's just so they could better gauge the oil loss, or if it's so people stop panicking when it got down on the dipstick.
I don't know.
Their solution was, it burns oil. Let's put a longer dipstick in it to be safe.
I know, like, my 6.7, when you look up how much oil it takes, you'll find two answers. You'll either see 12.5 liters of oil or you'll see 12 liters of oil.
It's depending on the length of the dipstick.
I don't know what it's depending on, but I've asked the dealership and they say it's 12 liters of oil. So I put 12 liters of oil in my truck. But yet the previous mechanic wrote 12.5 on the actual like head, like the head cover.
Yeah, where they'd
So
write
it's
it.
had 12.5 liters of oil in it before, but I only put 12. It's on a
It might have
diet.
down to 12 because it was a little too much oil pressure, and you were getting the blow by with the extra.
But actually, one of my buddies, he bought a brand new 2017 Chevy 1500 with the 5.3 in it. This was in 2017. And he noticed that it was smoking a little bit. So he put a catch can in it to catch excess oil going past the intake. And the catch can's about the size of a Coca-Cola can. And that thing would fill up every 2 weeks. And you'd have to empty it. And he took his findings to the dealership and to Chevy GM Canada or whatever. And they said, that's in spec. What?
That's normal. Yeah, that's normal. It's all good. We know.
The
Speaking
reason
of
why
not
you got to change your oil every 5,000 kilometers is because if you wait too long, you won't have any left to change.
Speaking of not normal, so recovery is a very important part of the towing industry.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to get into some cool looking recovery equipment. But before we do, I wanted to share a video of absolutely what I hope no one in this recovery ever does. So I'm going to lay out the scenario. We've got a rolled over vehicle on its side, and it looks like this isn't a tow company. I'd have to see closer. I can see it in the little thumbnail. Maybe it is. But there's a tow company or somebody who is rolling over this vehicle. And I'm gonna put the video up now. We got a little bit of audio just for reference. I can't tell if that's a tow truck or a.
It looks like the winch off the front of the fire truck.
But it does. But it's some sort of like Ford truck, Dodge truck, whatever. Not a full tow truck. And they're rolling over the vehicle, which is all semi-standard. I like that the fire department's trying to hold it up. And you can tell this firefighter is trying to soft roll this vehicle. And I can't really figure out why. I'm like, why are they kind of fighting it? And then I realize as this vehicle lands and this guy almost loses an arm, that there's still somebody inside the vehicle. And then all of a sudden you see them bring over the board, not to mention the vehicle wasn't secure, it tried to roll. And there's all kinds of paramedics, and they're treating, there's the person in the driver's seat that they have just slammed this vehicle down. If they didn't have neck injuries before, there's a good chance that they're going to now. They're bringing over the gurney. They got more people than they know what to do with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that looks like typical fire and EMS on our scenes too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there is somebody in the vehicle when they rolled this thing over.
I'm not
Now,
sure if this is in the States or not.
No, this is this is like Southern America, Europe, somewhere. This is not, it might be Europe if you look at that front plate. And
You
judging by the
could
names
Google
on
what
it.
it says on the back of his shirt.
See, that's why we need producer Sarah here. Those were perfect jobs for her.
Yeah.
You
But
just
no,
look at
that's
video.
definitely a winch off the front end of that truck.
Yeah, 100%. So let's pause this right here. Right? Let's pause this right here. Bring us in so we can kind of see what's going on. Okay. What could you do differently here, knowing that there's somebody in the vehicle that you are about to roll over? Maybe this person was one of my Tim Hortons crew, right? That the idea or the ability to get them out, because all these firefighters look like they weigh about 90 pounds. And these paramedics, maybe their fear was they wouldn't be able to get them out with the vehicle on their side. Possible, right?
Yep.
I'm in. I can buy that. Terrible excuse, but I can buy that.
Mm.
So you neck brace them up, you rig them up. You don't hard roll the goddamn thing. You don't hard roll this car. Like, put a catch vehicle on the other side. It's not like you need another tow truck, another winch even. You need a strap
And
and a
someone
car.
with their foot on the brake, neutral.
Like, this is the importance of training. And
Now, there is another vehicle on the other side of that
yeah, a
car.
parked car. I don't care. Drive up on the sidewalk. It's like a park. There's kids in this park just watching this shit show happening. Going, well, I guess that's how you recover cars in Ecuador or wherever the hell this is.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure how well equipped this fire department is because it does look like a Ford Maverick as the response vehicle with the winch on it. But there is another Citroen, Peugeot, whatever, right where the windshield is on the car while it's on its side. So I'm assuming they didn't want to like cut out the windshield and pull them out that way, or they just didn't have the equipment to do that.
And then it's like everyone, let's see the car roll. I love the car rolling away. And then
I think that was just it rolling on its parking pin, to be honest with you.
It might have been, but yeah, like there's so many. So this, I don't know. Like I said, I think maybe we're spoiled.
Yeah.
In the country that we live in and the training that we have. Because like this would never fly here. There's no fire department in the world that would. I mean, there's enough of them there that they could have lowered. Like I've worked at speedways.
Mhm.
They could have lowered that car to the ground with all of them there.
Yep.
Right? Like there's only like 12 of them there. I know they only weigh 90 pounds, but like they could have rolled that car over with them without that truck and casually brought it down to the ground. Instead, they just let it slam and move on to the next patient. I hope healthcare is free in that country is all I'm saying, because if it is not, that is going to get real expensive real fast.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, as long as the person made it out okay.
I have a little whiplash. That was a hard landing.
It was a hard landing. I mean, certain circumstances, I can see why they would do it. Maybe that's the fastest way to get the person out. It's definitely not the easiest or most comfortable way for that person.
Well, if they were really trying to
exit
get him
the
out quick,
vehicle.
they could have left the door open. It might have just ejected them out. Like
Well,
anyone
I
who's
need
ever
you to
rolled
put your
a car,
seatbelt back on.
like anyone who's ever rolled a car on a flat,
Yeah.
right? I don't mean in a ditch sometimes, but like anyone who's ever rolled one from its side to the wheels on the pavement, like you know how hard of a slam that is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Unless you're using, like, I've seen videos of actually a light duty. I seen one not long ago of somebody doing one with a soft put down, which you don't really do too often because most of the time the cars are write offs and no one cares. I mean, this is the one scenario where that would apply because There's somebody in there.
Yep.
There is a human life that is going whopping. Like that hurt my neck doing that.
Yeah.
Imagine after you've been in an accident, you're on your side already. I just hope they're not showing up to the next car accident that I'm at because, man, I mean, kind of hope they do because I want to have a good laugh at it.
Yeah.
But if you want to see any of these clips, you can head over to the YouTube side as well. If you haven't, don't forget, head over to YouTube, look up Towing Life Podcast. You will find the video and you'll see the link. You'll see the videos in our video. So if you're listening on the audio side, I apologize. I know the videos aren't the most fun part for you, but at the same time, we try and do our best to give descriptive of what they are so that everyone can have in on the laugh and everyone can have in on the fun.
Mm-hmm. So last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever this video comes out,
We
brought up some trucks that we thought were from Europe, and it was the flatbed with the boom in it. Well, we were able to find the website of the manufacturer. We've got a picture of it here. co.me.ar is the name. Comar, I don't know. It's Italian. They've got some pretty neat stuff on this website. Now, granted, they're all like Sprinter style chassis, small tires. There is a couple of different trucks in here.
This one's a tandem.
Yeah, but it's like the smallest tandem you'll ever see. It's front wheel drive. It's not a real tandem. But if you scroll down, there is a couple of different trucks, and you can see the truck with the boom in it. And we'll leave a link to this website in the video description down below for the YouTube side, at least. But they've got pivoting beds that spin. They've got roll-off beds that go down almost flush to the ground. They've got two models of the trucks with the boom that actually bolts onto the frame rails. You can see a nice side picture there on the website.
Yeah, one's a 3-ton, and the translation might have got lost on the website. 3T crane boom fixed to the chassis, unique in its kind, perfect for roadside rescue.
Mm-hmm. So if that's 3 tons, I'm not sure if they're using metric or imperial tons, probably metric because it is Italian.
Yep.
But that's a pretty strong crane for being on a flatbed as well.
Yeah,
right?
That's the one with the flap that comes up. This one doesn't look like it has a flap.
No, they both have a flap, but the SE300 there has a twin boom for the hydraulic or for the crane. That's a 3.5 ton. The SE300L is a single cylinder.
Oh, okay. I do see the flap once we got on the big picture. Yeah. So twin cylinder on the bed for the tilt.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can't have that boom that looks like all the way up when you slide the bed out. That's obviously the one.
And they have options for outriggers, for like the stiff legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got
I know these things are pretty sweet. So that's it with it. You know, it's boom, obviously fully down. That's a good approach angle on a bed with the ramps too.
Mm-hmm,
it's a pretty interesting little setup that they have. But yeah, the boom with the before the boom tilts up. It is, you know what? It's engineering at its finest. Oh, I see the stiff legs right here off the control box.
Mm-hmm.
There is to stabilize the rear.
Yep.
Oh, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? It's innovation at its finest.
Yep.
Love to see different ideas and how different countries, you know, especially do things.
And I really like how they've got toolboxes on the full length of the frame. Right. I know that's probably an option, but around here you don't see that much toolbox space. On a truck like this, you're going to need that extra equipment. You're going to need stuff for high pulls. You want this truck to be able to do everything it gets sent out to. You don't want this. That's the whole purpose of having a flatbed with a 3.5-ton crane jib, as they call it, affixed to the frame. You want it to go out and do everything it can. So you need all that toolbox space.
It's weird because it says it's a 3.5-ton crane boom fixed to the chassis, perfect for roadside rescue. 3.5-ton arm fixed to the chassis. It says that in multiple places.
Yeah.
And then it says down here, equipment and accessories, 5-ton crane arm anchored to the chassis, fully extended.
Yeah.
So
5-ton rear fork, fully extended.
Yeah. Movable winch. I know what they mean by movable winch.
A lot of the winches will actually slide side to side on the actual top of the heading block.
Yeah, it looks like that it could slide that winch. Yeah, it looks a little off-centered in this photo. You know, oh, look at the toolboxes above. Interesting
nice.
spot. Anyways, yeah, they are quite the cool trucks. It was their website is poorly designed.
And I really like
holy shit, look at this big boy.
Yeah.
Recovery. Where is he? Where is you? Oh, look at this little mini guy.
Yeah.
So head over if you guys are looking. So it's COMEAR.IT. COMEAR.IT.
Oh, it's COM.
That's what I said.
COMEAR.
Yeah, or COMEAR.IT.
Okay.
I'm just pronouncing it different, G. Calm down.
Okay.
The
But they
website
even had
doesn't have
a
any
little
dots.
wrecker, like a standard, like 1 ton, 2 ton, 3 ton truck with a swivelable boom.
Can you say quarter ton?
That one's a
Look at
quarter
this
ton.
thing. What is this thing?
Yeah.
What is okay? So this is the RF010.
It's
1 ton automatic fork, self-leveling air suspension. You would need it.
Yeah.
3.5 ton gross vehicle weight.
Yeah.
Look, their light bar goes up.
Mm-hmm. Their toolboxes are side steps for the truck.
What?
They have toolboxes for side steps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're on the
Yeah.
steps into the cab.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want one of these things. The
Perfect for
RF010 equipment can be fitted on cabs with a total weight of 3,500 kg. When it is characterized by its extreme ease and speed of intervention, any situation when it is necessary to remove or rescue parked or damaged vehicles. I mean, when you talk about these little like alphas and all that they have, these little cars, I mean, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The rear forks with hydraulic opening and closing makes it possible to remove a parked vehicle without getting out of the cab. So it's a self-loader.
Yeah.
The 1,000 kg fork device allows the removal of parked vehicle by positioning itself perpendicular to the vehicle to be removed. A flag with a winch pulley positioned at the end of the fixed boom allows the winch rope to be redirected to facilitate the approach of the vehicle. There's a winch on this thing?
Yep, right top of the boom there.
Give me a bigger picture.
Right there, shiv head coming right out.
Oh, it's not okay.
Flag,
oh, holy shit! There's a shiv head on it.
Yeah. Yep, there's a shiv.
And that's got more than a chase truck in Toronto.
And it's got stiff legs. The previous picture had stiff legs. Go back.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Holy shit! It has stiff legs.
Wow.
Holy
a Ford Ranger, pretty well.
Yeah, a short box Ford Ranger.
Yeah, real short box. Honestly, if you guys aren't watching on the YouTube side, I don't tell you very often, but head over and check out these pictures, or at least check out the website.
It's got stiff legs. It probably needs it to help lift the back end up to get the thing in the air. Like, that is beefy for that little truck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I mean, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
It's, I don't even know if I'm impressed anymore.
Imagine something like that. Like, the amount of toolbox space you would have to play with on like a standard 5,500 chassis or a 1 ton chassis we have here.
I'm pretty sure
this room you would have.
I'm pretty sure that big guy was built out of wood.
Right there, the FP.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, the FP 8000.
Yeah.
I'm still just impressed by this little guy. Yeah, they got their typical, like, it's like a two car hauler, 3-car hauler with a high ab on it.
Yep.
But you're talking about this RFTG is the one you were referring to, this little wrecker.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, built on a swiveling crane boom.
Yep.
For vehicles from 5 ton to 10 ton.
Yep.
Ease and speed of operation, customizable equipment, excellent for forced removal of vehicles. I love that term. Forced removal of vehicles. I'm going to force remove this vehicle from this
coming with me whether you like it or not.
That does not have a wheel lift. That's a crane.
Yeah.
There's no wheel lift on this one.
Go down on the pictures. They've got a sling for it. Some of them
they've got a thing that says a wheel lift with its
with another winch on it. Looks like another shiv head and a winch. Little Z boom.
On the back? Oh, no, I think it's probably the primary. Oh, no, there's a secondary winch.
Yeah.
Man.
They got some neat stuff over there, man.
Comiar, whatever you're called. Yeah. Please reach out to us, anyone from Italy. We would love to hear about, like, or see one of these things in use.
Mm-hmm.
But like, oh yeah, the swivel boom, like I said, twin winch, one on a Z boom on the wheel lift, one on the boom at the top. It swivels off the side. I mean,
It's towing a
that thing's
flatbed.
it's handling it pretty decently by the looks of it. I mean, maybe these, like, look at the boom reach.
Yeah.
With spreader bars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah.
I'm
Nice
kind
mounting
of
set up for
this one
dollies,
doesn't
nice
have-
and low.
Yeah. No, this one's got a sling attachment. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
With the outriggers, it looks like they have LED lights on them, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
There's a couple things that I definitely see. As intro. Okay. So
yeah.
the cradle. Wow, I haven't seen a cradle in a long time. Yeah, it looks like that doesn't look like it's handling it so well.
No.
But yeah, no, I'm a 3-stage boom.
Yep.
Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate these trucks as much as I should hate these trucks. Like, this thing's made of wood.
No, I think that's just a 3D rendering.
Yeah. This guy's still awesome. I just really like this little guy right here.
Yeah.
Like, I really want one of those little guys. Look at the winner. Look at the tires it's got on it.
Mm-hmm.
Is ready for some work to do. Yeah, the swivel beds that we've seen a bit in North America, the 0 degrees, as you said, little mid duty, little tandem with a high ab, little 4-car, and then a heavy wrecker, and then just a straight up ramp truck.
You don't see too many of those anymore.
No. And then this big, the FP 8000. Now I've seen a couple like different heavy wreckers from Europe. So I can't really comment on if this is the one we've seen. But yeah, those are nice storage boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're showing off their negative tilt.
Mm-hmm. Lots of reach.
Long. They seem to have a lot of reach on the boom. Not so much.
No.
Boom, not so much of reach.
I do like the outriggers out front though, like on the front of the box.
Oh yeah, and they just kind of kick out. I mean, I don't know if they're the most. Again, though, they're not really doing much side recovery. That's not a swivel boom on that.
No,
it doesn't rotate. But again, you got a drag winch and 2 inches up top. This little side puller to run those winches off of. Okay. I can
like
see that. It folds down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a terrible design.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see it practically used. Same thing for the drag winch down at the bottom here. There's a little pulley mounted.
Yep.
So they can just run a straight line out for a
spare
straight
tire on top of the boom.
Yeah. God only knows why. The rear riggers are quite the interesting design and shape.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it work light on the roof, and then another winch going a weird way up here.
Side puller.
Oh, from the high ab. That's right. It looks like it has a high ab at the front of some of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, welcome to Italian Truck. So if you haven't checked out the link already,
there's a side puller.
COMEAR.IT. Oh shit, there's a side puller way up there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the side riggers are for. That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
COMEAR.IT. Head over for your lot. Check out the truck. See what's a little different on the market. Those Europeans are. Those
Contact
Europeans
them, see if they've got any interest in coming to North America.
Like, ship me a truck. I'll try it. The cost alone of getting a truck from Italy would be ridiculous.
I did see on one of the posts where
cover us going out to Italy and we'll do a live review at your factory.
I did see someone actually post on the Facebook chat about this, saying that they're going out to check out their facility in another couple of months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I want photos.
Mm-hmm.
I want photos, or I'm coming with you.
And I want to hear from operators who have used these type of trucks and what they think on them.
I'll have to see what our listener base is in Italy. I don't think it's very high.
No.
I don't think it's very high. So, yeah, I know those are cool. Those are cool. I'll go to Italy now, just check them out.
Yeah. That's your
so
next
I'm glad
vacation.
Follow it up with it. I'm glad
Not to see Lamborghinis or anything. No, tow truck.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody reached out on, again, it was either on Facebook or by email. I cannot remember which way. I think his name was Tony. I don't know if he checked the box that said, I give you permission to use my name, but I'm going to anyways. I believe it was Tony. He said, hey, these are them. check them out. Thank you, Tony, for that. So if you ever have something like that we come across that we get a little stumped on, or maybe we're not the most up to date on, you can email us at thetowinglife@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook at the Towing Life Podcast, or our website. Find the contact us form, www.towinglife.ca. We don't always get it right, but we're bound to get it wrong.
Or just put it down below in the comments section.
Or put it down below in the comments. I think he said he did also leave a comment on the video about it. So you'd have to go back and check that. You are in charge of the YouTube video comments.
Yeah, I'll have to go check that.
So
Slacking over here.
That being said, is about all the time that we have for today's episode. Be sure to stay up to date with the, what's going on. Wait for the tow show videos that are coming out. Head over to towinglife.ca/recovery. Get your submission in before it's too late. Contest closes September 30th. And other than that, on behalf of myself, my wonderful co-host, Mr. Towman G, thanks for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.
Toodles.